Salute to all the Patreon members. I want to thank you guys for your support. It really means a lot to me. Links are in the description box below for the Patreon page. Uh, if you want to tap in with me and either chop it up or listen to all the videos that I have on Patreon, link is in the description box below. Facebook page, link is in the description box below. I don't like the New York Post. Sometimes I don't like the New York Post because it's like when they could have had this photo at the top underneath the news caption, the headline, but they put in some video, some advertisement, and it's just it throws it all off. Like some of these websites, including the New York Post, they just drown the pages in advertisement. So, anyways, sorry I'm late, but I'm here. We're gonna talk about Dillon Brooks. Okay. So I've been, hearing little things here and there about the situation. I haven't read the full article. So this will be my first time reading about this in its entirety in front of you guys. But I've been hearing little tidbits about what's been going on with him. All right. What else do I want to get into before I start talking about this article? I had something on my mind and then it just left. All right. Damn. You hate that? Like I had something at the tip of my mind and forgot. But once again, I'm sorry I'm late, but I'm here. So Dillon Brooks, he might as well just get his passport. I guess he has a passport or a working visa because, he's working with a United States organization called the NBA. All right. He plays for the Rockets. I have not been to a Rockets game in a long time. He's not a bad player. It's just that Dillon Brooks is, how can I put this without sounding racist? All right. How can I put this without sounding racist? Dillon Brooks comes from Canada. I think he's from Toronto, right? Or Mississauga, or let me look up exactly where he's from because I know he's from around that region. Mississauga. I took a wild guess and I was right. So basically the Toronto metro area. Okay. I don't think he was raised with his mother and father. I've tried to look up pictures of his parents. I've only seen his mother. His mother's Caucasian, and some of the extended family members, it's all the mother's side. And I believe that he took on his mother's last name. I don't know anything about his father, right? And I've been living in Canada so long. I tell you guys about a lot of these relationships up there, especially the interracial, biracial, the interracial relationships up there. And I've talked about it so much on this platform. I don't think I need to keep regurgitating. For those that don't know, my name is Splash Wave Beats. I've either been living or traveling abroad for the last 16 years. I'm actually on my way to Canada this weekend, matter of fact. All right. I know Canada very well. Okay. I lived in Canada for 6 years. And now I have to travel in and out, but I've been living in Canada. In the past, I've lived in Canada for 6 years. Okay. I know Dillon Brooks, he got into some hot water. Originally he was drafted by the Houston Rockets, and then I guess he got picked up by the Memphis Grizzlies. Got drafted in 2017, I know he was in, was it the playoffs or the finals? I forgot. Going up against LeBron, and he said something that not only kind of rubbed the people, the public, the wrong way. You said something that would rub your staff members and the organization the wrong way. He did what uh, a lot of Zennials do, right? Because when I was growing up, millennials, you know, there'd be a handful of people here and there that might make jokes, but in general, I didn't hear like people in my generation uh, making fun of somebody because they were older, right? Um, at times we would, because it was such a generational gap. Like we were raised by the baby boomer generation. So the baby boomer generation and the millennials is two totally different generations, two totally different groups of people. So yeah, you would have some people who would kind of say, we would say things about the the you know the baby boomer generation, but I don't just loosely call somebody old because they're older and I make fun of them for being older. I never did that, right? And the people around me, my immediate circle, they never did that. You see what I'm saying? At our age range, we kind of still had respect for the elders, even though when technology was coming in, they just weren't. They just could not pick it up for whatever reason. They were very, very old fashioned, and so now this generation is a little bit different, right? You got Dillon Brooks, who is what, um born in 1996, right? And I guess he said that he would beat you know LeBron James and the Lakers because LeBron James, he's old or something like that. And uh the Memphis Grizzlies, they got rid of him. I don't want to draw this out too long because that's not the point of this article. All right. Now, what year was that? What year was that? Professional career. Um uh when was that? 2023? 2020. It was around about 2023. Who was in the playoffs? Memphis Grizzlies playoffs 2023. Okay, yeah. So yeah, they lost to the Lakers 4-2. And then you said what you said. Now the Lakers, they went on to, they got past the round, but they didn't win the title in 2023. And Dillon Brooks said he was going to get past the Lakers because we got it because he's old. LeBron is old, and now you just pissed off the people who write checks for you. And I think that's why the Grizzlies got rid of him. Maybe because of an attitude thing also in the locker room on top of that. But you saying that in public, it's like you pissed off the fans, you pissed off the organization, you pissed off your team, you pissed off people. Basically, man, people who are real movers and shakers, not only in the country, but in the world, they're 2-3 times your age. And you said that, right? Ain't nobody in their 20s, YNs or whatever, really, you know, um, you might be a little bit of the grease that lubricates the gears so it can run, but you're still very young. And at the time, you was like 26 when you said that. No, like you pissed off a lot. Like I'm telling you, let this be a lesson. Like if you're a person of a certain age and you start coming around a group of people, especially if they're giving you an opportunity, you're making money with these people, and you find it hilarious to call somebody old, they're going to get rid of you very fast if you think that joke is funny. Right. So they got rid of him, sent them to the Houston Rockets. And like, why would the Grizzlies get rid of a star player? Right. I mean, you come second to John Morant on their team, right? Hell, you probably come third to what's his name, that center that's on the team. But still, you were one of the star players on the team. For them to get rid of one of the star players on the team, and you made it, you're bringing a team to the playoff seed like that. That means you really rubbed them the wrong way. Got over to the Rockets, right? And let me tell you this about especially biracial Canadian, really Canadians, but really biracial Canadians, um, you know, in Canada. A lot of them, they're not raised with the same culture and code that we have. You see what I'm saying? This man grew up around his mother's side of the family. Not that it's wrong, but now you're seeing him come into, uh, I guess, what's more popular, his style, uh, a little bit of his blackness, the way he wears his hair, his beard, probably the music that he listens to. And you don't have to be mixed with black to listen to the music or anything like that. But he's probably coming into his blackness a little bit, being in the locker room, living in America, being around brothers more, and being around a different group of people. But let me tell you, that Canadian side is still in him. He's still going to say and do things that are out of line, out of pocket, out of code, right? And really, because it's you just didn't have that that kind of structure. You weren't really raised with that structure. So they do and say a lot of slick stuff. You know what I'm saying? It's, I don't want to go on and on about that, but that's kind of how it is in Canada. All right. But salute to J Bones. Damn, and this intro was way too long. It says it's 14 minutes already. But I'm trying to paint the picture of somebody, that you're seeing right here. Me personally, I've never liked Dillon Brooks. Some of the things, when I watch games and he gets a little attitude and he gets into it with people, and like it's really over some sucker shit, right? But that's really like the Canadian side. It's kind of like Drake. You know what I'm saying? Drake, being in Canada, really raised on his mother's side, and then you got older and you got into rapping, and there's nothing wrong with that. But then when you came into America, they had to do a lot of damage control with Drake when he came over to America. Drake wasn't really liked like that for the longest when he came to America. His interviews were kind of weird. He would say or do little weird shit, and it was like, then when things would happen to you, you really want to stand up for yourself. You would do slick shit that most people know better than to do in America, but you did it anyways. So this is what I'm trying to tell you. This is what I'm trying to introduce to you. But that's just how it is in Canada. They're not raised with the same level of ethics and codes, because when you violate in America, like it gets dangerous really, really fast. Like unless you just like that, you built like that to be disrespectful, that's a little different. But when you do something and being like, oh, whatever, like it's just, who cares? No, like somebody will pull your coattail really, really fast out here. You got to know the ins and outs. As a Rockets fan, I love what Brooks did for our team. I wish him well. Are you from Houston, 3D? or you just like the Rockets. I'm not saying he's a bad player. Dillon Brooks is not a bad player. That's a good way to put it, Jay Bones. They are culturally unaligned, right? Because in Canada, most of them, like if you go up there, it's a bunch of people trying to act like Americans, but then they shit on Americans. And then it's like, to get recognized, they try to join gangs and act hard. Like in Toronto, they got like Crip and Blood gangs up there. And it's a bunch of East Africans and East Indians and stuff. It's like it's real weird, and the accent it sounds crazy. It's just like you're trying to be a rebel without a cause up there, and they think that just being hard and just getting into altercations for no reason up there, that makes them street. And I'm just like, no, it don't. Like you can't run none of that down here in America. That ain't how but that kind of culture I don't even want to dive into and talk about it. Like it's embarrassing. But this is what I'm trying to show you in this article right here. Right? Canada it's especially like when they're biracial, they really like step out of line all the time. And they really step out of line. Oh, you from the H? Oh, okay. Toronto be on the same thing as them London dudes, but they're worse because at least the Brits found their own culture now, the drill grime scene. But see, the thing about I was I was talking to somebody about this earlier today, right? Like them little biracial light-skinned dudes. The hell? Hold on real quick. Hold on. I am talking to you back in. All right, my bad. The light-skinned dudes, the light-skinned British dudes in the UK, they got a little bit more swag. All right. They have a little bit more they got a little bit more swag. Like them guys, like they'll take your girl. All right. Them brothers over there in the UK, they smooth. They smooth with it. I'll give them that. Them little light-skinned dudes over in the UK, they smooth with it. Not Canada. Not Canada. Let me tell you, if I had my girl, right? If I had an American chick, like a bad chick with me from America in Canada, and I'm out running errands, I'm like, all right, and she talking about, oh, I'm gonna go out here with my sister, we gonna roam around the town or whatever. Now, if I call, if I call my American, if I call my American baddie that's with me and we in Canada, I'm like, hey, I'll be there in a minute. What you doing? Where you at? Oh, I'm with my sister here. I'm with my homegirl here. I'm like, damn, there's a lot of dudes in the background. Where the fuck y'all at? Oh, she had to go over to this dude's house to pick up something or whatever. It's like 10 other guys here, and they all light skinned. I'll be like, oh, okay. All right, I ain't even worried about that. They ain't on shit. I know you're annoyed being there. I know you hate being there right now. Right. I know it's pissing you off being there. Don't worry about it. I'll come get you in a minute. But if I'm in the UK with, it could be a British chick or an American chick, and I call her, I'm like, hold on, there's a bunch of dudes in the background. Like, where y'all at? Yeah, my homegirl had to come over here and do this woody woody woo at this dude's house or whatever. She met some dude and she had to pick up something from his house. It's like 10 guys. I'm like, hold on. They all light skinned. Yeah, it's funny that you mentioned they all light skinned. I'm like, hold on, what kind of fabrics they got on? What what kind of fabrics they got on? Right? They dress clean. They clean cut. Dress. They smelling good too. Yeah, yeah. They smelling right. They on point. They're not looking dusty at all. No, no. Hold on. Take your ass out of that house. You stand outside and wait for me. I'm coming down there right now to pick you up. All right. See, it's a difference between British light skinned dudes and Canadian light skinned dudes. Canadian light skinned dudes, like, trust me, they ain't putting pressure on no woman wherever you go. But like a British, them British dudes, they kind of smooth. So I'm like, no, you know, look at Tiana Taylor. UK culture is slightly a little bit better. Still suckers though. I'm an agent now for work and the dating scene here is too. I see what you mean, bro. It's kind of like how Kendrick exposed Drake. Kendrick exposed one of the non-white Canadians are weirdos, bro. They be doing that most. It's just weird. Those Drake songs are always aggressive, want to be hard, gangster lyrics, knowing damn well he grew up in the. Yeah, so, you know, but I was having a conversation with somebody about that the other day. I will leave my girl with a bunch of Canadian dudes. I ain't have to worry about nothing, right? I don't have to worry about nothing. Because if she tell me they try anything, she probably gonna beat their ass, right? I don't even have to worry about showing up, caving chest in. You know what I'm saying? I don't even have to chin check nobody showing them. She done already did it before I got there. But in the UK, I don't know, man. Like them brothers over there, they a little bit too suave for me, right? Right? They be talking all low and sultry. You know, haircut is too clean. They got good barbers over there, right? They be models doing modeling work on the side. Nah, damn that. Damn that. But anyways, let's get into this article. Mercurial NBA star Dillon Brooks alleges his ex once threatened to cut off his fingers with the newly acquired Phoenix Suns. With the newly acquired Phoenix Sun now seeking a restraining order. Oh, so this is who got traded over. That's right. Because I remember the Phoenix Suns, they did a big trade. And I'm like, man, I remember there was a name that they picked up. I was like, I couldn't remember. I'm like, man, who did the Phoenix Suns pick? It was him. Now I remember the Phoenix Suns picked up Dillon Brooks and they traded him. Well, they got Dillon Brooks and traded Kevin Durant. And I don't think Dillon Brooks and what's his face are gonna get along. Damn, what's his name? I'm having a brain fart right now. Devin Booker, yeah. I don't think Devin Booker is gonna get along with Dillon Brooks, right? I don't think they're gonna be able to get along, and then they're gonna get rid of him. He's probably gonna do 1 year over at the Phoenix Suns. Devin Brooks, he's biracial, he's light skinned, but he's like his father's black, and I think him and his mother and father, they still together. Like Devin Booker is a real American YN. All right, he one of them like American YNs where it's like, hey man, don't let this light skin fool you. Like he got beige rage for real. All right, it's totally different than a biracial Canadian. So I think they're gonna clash. I don't think that's gonna work. You know, Dillon Brooks going over there with Devin Booker. They got the same initials. That's interesting. Um, just days removed from being traded out of Houston as part of the Kevin Durant blockbuster, filed for a restraining order Wednesday in Los Angeles against Heath Andrews, whom he accused of harassment and making threats. In purported correspondence obtained by TMZ, Brooks said a message allegedly from the mother of his two young children read, I'll, I guess it was a typo, I have someone cut each one of your effing little fingers off one by one so you can never play basketball. And actually now I understand why people are racist. Right. And this is his girl, right? You know, Dillon Brooks, he's one of them ones where it's kind of like, I don't think sisters would want to have anything to do. Black American woman, like, it's not that it's not that they wouldn't get with somebody like a Dillon Brooks, right? As far as looks, it's that he's Canadian, right? They come around him and they like, wait, why you sound like that? Or I'm from Canada, yada yada yada. And then when he starts talking, not even because of his accent, just the words that's coming out of his mouth, and you know how weird this, you know, they'd be like, hey man, I'm nah, I ain't dealing with no Dillon Brooks, right? So I don't see a black American woman uh actually getting with somebody like a Dillon Brooks and actually staying with him. They're like a dark skinned sister would get with him because he light skinned, but they wouldn't stay with him, right? As a matter of fact, I don't even think they would stay long enough for him to even get them pregnant because they would just find this dude is weird, right? So, you know, he got with a Caucasian woman. She's not bad looking at all. She looks like an IG model, right? And you got with a suspected white supremacist. And actually now I understand why people are racist, right? So she reminded you, like, hey, look, you ain't, I know who your mother's side of the family is. I know who you were raised by, but trust and believe, you know, you ain't one of us. All right. She reminded him. Now she bad, but it came with a lot of crazy. Brooks said they had met Andrews at a Las Vegas nightclub in 2018. Okay, that's your mistake number one right there. You know, relationship in many cases is the course of the relationship is going to be based on where y'all met each other at. Claimed the harassment originated around the time she was pregnant with their first child. How many kids do they have? He alleges to have been the recipient of emotionally abusive messages with their private exchanges, sometimes being shared in a public space to cast him in a negative light. The matter intensified with their second baby on the way, according to Brooks, who said Andrews' threats referenced various different ways that she was going to hurt me, either personally, professionally, or both. Brooks also claimed Andrews threatened his mother by sharing the message, I'll send someone after your mom too, bitch. Damn. Damn. Devin Booker, no mouthpiece. He looked like he got anger issues. Who, Devin Booker or Devin Booker or Dillon Brooks? Who got anger issues? Hold on a second. Hold on a second. Hold on a second. The former second round pick recently alleged Andrews gained unauthorized access to his account on the Our Family Wizard co-parenting app and transmitted a criminal threat message to herself purporting to come from me. Beyond the alleged threats, Andrews is accused of defacing Brooks' property with one apparent incident dating back to 2022 when it's claimed she scribbled, "You suck, bitch," on an outdoor mantle. Damn, it doesn't matter how lame this dude may or may not be. I don't want to sound like I guess it does sound like I'm taking personal shots. It's just some of the things that I've seen him react, the way I've seen him react on the court was just like, it was just kind of some of the things he said, throughout the years. It's just like, it's really, I'm like, okay, that's that Canadian shit, you know, and maybe I might be reading him wrong. Right. But the thing is, regardless, if you don't like somebody, you don't have to do all this, right? Make threats, talk about their mama, and talk about I see why people are racist and you suck, bitch, and cut people's fingers off. And I'll send someone after your mom too, bitch. Like that's hold on now. She remind me of that one chick that unalive that Nigerian dude. She look and sound like that woman that unalived that Nigerian dude that stabbed him to death. You remember that? Hold on, let me text this person. Hold on. Let me text this person back. Um, uh, anyways, I'm back. I don't know. Jay Bones must have left also. Both parties are expected to meet in front of a judge in July. Well, this month, Brooks widely regarded as the league's top antagonist. Okay. Is heading to the Suns after Phoenix shipped Durant to the Rockets on Sunday. I've always said Durant, if you have KD on the team, he's not going to get you a championship. Even though like he has two, but you came to a team that already had a squad. You see what I'm saying? Like KD on the team now is a possibility that we might win a ring. Nah, KD's a good player, but he's not like you know to me KD is just somebody like you bring along and then like you guys will coast. He just likes to coast. You know, all right, I'm making money, I'm playing ball, I'm good, but I don't KD to me doesn't have that killer instinct that even though I know that he injured himself coming back out on the court when he was up against Toronto. So I mean that gave a lot of heart but like the team and the public, they were pushing him and he did it when he didn't have to, when he shouldn't have. Right. It was like a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation, and he re-injured himself. But in general, KD is just somebody. It's just like I'm a good player. I'm trying to coast and whatever. Like I like as good as what a lot of people, the accolades that they give him, and some of the accolades that he gets, yes, you've earned it, but he's not a Kobe. You know what I'm saying? He's not. That's not KD. He doesn't have that killer instinct. You know what I'm saying? It's just I'm a good player that's just hooping until I retire, and I'm just coasting. Jalen Green is also part of the package. Brooks averaged 14 points, 3.7 rebounds, 1.7 assists per game this season. He began his career in Memphis in 2017. All right, so there was another page where they actually showed the text messages. Um, they actually showed the text messages, but I couldn't find it. I saw it on Instagram, but I didn't see it. Oh, here we go. It's on TMZ. Okay, TMZ got it. Yeah, Jay Bones, you said he looks like he got anger issues. You talking about Dillon Brooks or Devin Booker? That's what I was asking. So here we go. Why do they have the wall? I'm sick and tired of this Diddy case. They really milking this cow dry with this Diddy case. NBA's Dillon Brooks files for restraining order against ex. Dillon Brooks split with the mother of his children. I ain't gonna lie, I give it to her. She bad. I'm not gonna lie. But that ain't somebody you wife. You know what I'm saying? That's like, even if you an American brother, you don't wife that. You just like have fun with that. But I don't know. So this is what she wrote. I'm gonna have you hurt, whack bitch. Can't ask about your kid or the one in my stomach. I'm gonna pull up on you. I'm pregnant. I have an excuse. Laugh out loud. I will pull up at the gym. I'm done fucking around. It's war, bitch. Just wait. I have someone cut each one of your fucking little fingers off one by one so you can never play basketball. Laugh out loud. And actually now I understand why people are racist, bitch. You were over there, right? And uh where did she write this at? This was at his home. This your house? He must, just must be like, home out in the cut to save money. You ain't, let me tell you, this is like this wall with this wood on it. This look like you an orange mound somewhere. I hope you in a safe place, right? If she could just walk up and write that, then it doesn't seem like you live in a gated community, right? It doesn't seem like there's an officer in the front of your neighborhood. It seemed like your shit is just wide open. This looked like one of them houses. Damn, I brought up. Damn, I shouldn't have brought that up. I shouldn't have. I wasn't thinking. I was gonna say this looked like one of them houses that you remember when Black Youngster went outside looking for a young Dolph, and he had black and white goons in the background talking about where you at, Dolph. And I just remember he passed away. Damn. Like this looked like one of them houses in that neighborhood. Right? Your shit just wide open when she could just come on, man. I ain't seen a house with this structure. Look at this paint with the brick. Right? This one of them niche houses that was built in the 60s. Right? Damn. All right. Well, I'm like, if you got a little bit of paper, spend it, especially in a safe neighborhood. Get a condo, right? With a key fob. Okay. But anyways, this is what I want to say, right? And never mind everything that I know I took a long time. We're almost an hour in. I took a long time with that long intro and stuff like that. But here's the thing, though. Forget about everything I said about Canadians and the culture up there, and how forget about what I said earlier. In general, this is a sad case. You're with somebody, you didn't get married to this person. That might have been a good thing, right? But it's kind of like you lusted after somebody and you just started and you impregnated somebody that you lusted after. And brothers, like, we know better. to a certain degree. Like it, it's not the fact that this seemed like this was your girl, the way she's reacting, right? See, this is totally different than, you messed around and impregnated the hoe, but then it's like you with the hoe. This is why she's like so out, just enraged by everything that's going on in her situation, right? Is because you kind of took this chick seriously, right? You double tap this. Um this ain't a what's his name? Um uh what's his name? Why am I This ain't an Anthony Edwards situation, right? This ain't an Anthony Edwards situation where, you know, all right, you going raw up in the hole and then you nut in her and it's like, okay, hey, get rid of it. Right. I'll pay you. I got the bread. I'll pay you 100 racks to get rid of it. Just get rid of it. And then she keep it for herself anyway. This is a little different. This is like you messing around with the hoe and then you know, you introducing her. She talking about I'm gonna send people after your mom. That means this chick know where your mama stay at. Right. You having relationships with the hoe, you seriously, you know, you doing too much. This ain't a transactional relationship that you having with the hoe. It's like you cupcaking with the hoe. This your girl. You made her damn near almost your wife to a certain. You holding this chick up in the air from what it seems like in this text message, right? You double tapped and got her pregnant twice. You see what I'm saying? And look here, this is why a lot of brothers are getting their passports, right? You're getting your passports, dealing. See, the thing is, he's a major figure, like he's a public figure. So this is a little bit different, right? But guys who aren't public figures, they go through this in America. And, they can make threats, racist remarks, and then it's kind of like you raising your children. You got children with this person. And then it's kind of like in the court of law, the judge is still going to say, okay, the kids is still best fit to be with the mother while you pay a bunch of child support and you don't get full custody after showing proof that this woman is a nutcase. You see what I'm saying? And my life is in danger and my kids' lives might be in danger as well. You see, when you deal with women overseas, it's kind of like they got to get their mind right real quick because you're probably not going to get support at all if you go full crazy, right? So it's best to just be half crazy and the man check you and you get your mind right so that you can get support from this person because he really don't want to deal with American bitches anyway. You over in Latin America, Canada, I wouldn't advise anybody to get nobody pregnant in Canada or the UK or anywhere in Europe anyways, because this feminist that's feminism land, right? That's feminism farmland out there as well. Whereas like I don't know too much about UK baby mamas, but at least Canadian baby mamas, like the door is always open to see your kid. They're not gonna come after you in court, but if you don't let her get full custody, it's like just let her get full custody. You'll always be able to see your kid, but them women up there in Canada, especially in the UK, they don't care who they bring around your kid, right? She'll break like y'all will break up on a Monday. She'll have another man digging her out in front of your child while the crib is in the room with them that Wednesday. Trust me. I've been in that situation multiple times. They do not give a damn. And I bet there's a lot of American women that don't give a damn either. there's a handful, some that it's kind of like, no, I just can't bring you around my child just yet. And the father's still active in the lives in this child's life. Women still, women still get on the internet and preach good co-parenting, hashtag good co-parenting in America, right? They don't do that in Canada. You know what I'm saying? They don't do that. They don't give a damn. The door is always open to see your kid, but I'm still gonna get dick, whenever I feel like it. And so what if it's in front of your kid? We're not together no more. You got bitches too that you fucking with, yada yada. It's just demonizing you, falsely demonizing you for something you haven't done yet, just so she can. It gives her an excuse to do what she does. Like that. That's what women do, right? So it's like if you got a baby mom's in another country or whatever, right? She's gonna have to work with you, and if she doesn't want to work with you, then it's like it would be in her best interest to work with you, even though it's long distance, right? Um, but whereas like in the West, in America, Canada, the UK, it's kind of like in their minds they don't care about having to work with you. This is going to get done regardless. Um, this is this is what's going to happen regardless, whether you like it or not, and you're going to foot the bill for this. See, there's a lot of women who just want to make men the baby makers in America. This dude is a baby maker, right? She probably always wanted two kids. I got two kids by some rich athlete, right? I'm going to play crazy because either she probably is or she knows, like, I got the complexion for the protection anyway. Yeah, I had to talk like that to him because, you know, how they are type of shit, so she knows she's still going to get protection and support by way of the government, by way of the league. The NBA is going to help too. The NBA is probably going to provide her with a lawyer too, right? And so here's the thing, man. This is why a lot of brothers get their passports. All right. This is why a lot of brothers that get their passports, they travel, they they want to opt out of really dealing with women out in the West and women in America. We are the baby makers. I just saw something where Black China, called off the engagement with her dude. And this is the thing, like, and I put a comment. I said, man, it's 2025. If you still trying to go out and purchase a ring and marry and get engaged with any of these women, then you need medication. All right. You need medication. You need help. You need therapy. You see what I'm saying? Hell, and damn near if you impregnating these women over here, I almost want to say that, but some people, they all right with just having kids and moving on. Right? You need help if you're trying to, if you really trying to make women out here in America your wife, right? Damn near if you trying to have kids, because it's always it's the same thing over and over and over again. And then you can only point but to like one person, one or two people, and say, hey, well, they're still together. Okay, wonderful. This person's one in a billion, right? All right, you're gonna point to LeBron James, right? But that's not the norm at all. That's very, very rare. We point to LeBron James like, hey, they still together, but that's very, very rare. You see what I'm saying? You could point to a Steph Curry, even though she damn near went through a little whole phase herself. You see what I'm saying? But you could point to people. You could point to people, but it's still gonna it's still gonna come out saying, like, for every one person you point to, you're gonna point to another million that's going through it, right? Like a Dillon Brooks. There's a million Dillon Brooks out there. There's millions of Dillon Brooks out there that's going through this shit. Regardless of what I feel about this person, right? Um, if you get with a significant other, you shouldn't be going through this, right? Um, Women, they don't value family at all. Family isn't in the back of their minds. They're not trying to do anything right. They just want a baby. All right. I bet that woman had a number in the back of her mind the whole time and said, okay, I got my 2 kids. I'm good. I'm good. Right. Let me demonize this man and separate myself from him, gain public sympathy. Right. And you'll say, hey, based on the text messages, how would she gain public sympathy? It don't matter. It don't matter. She's a female. People are going to say, what did he do to her? Right. And just that line alone, that's kind of like, even though you revealed that text message and it was a private conversation, that text message being revealed to the public, it's kind of like it's blowing a whistle at a certain group of people to come to her rescue. You see what I'm saying? So this is a sad situation, but it's kind of like, I can't say we, because more than likely Dillon Brooks, the father side, they probably not even American, might be African or Caribbean. You see what I'm saying? So I can't say we, including himself, but just in general, you see this a lot in America. We got to get to a point where, we just got to tell ourselves that women have turned on us. You know what I'm saying? Women have turned on us and they act like they don't need you, but they need you to complete a mission that a goal that they're trying to accomplish, a mission they're trying to, a task they're trying to complete. Find a man who's thirsty, have him impregnate me, give me 2 or 3 kids, and then I'll move on with my life and demonize him, take his kids away, and then I'll get with a new man. Right? I'll get with a simp. I'll get with an even bigger simp than him. Right? So it's I'm gonna end this right here, but it's sad to see this. He's not going to be protected. He's not going to have custody of his kids, right? They're gonna, the woman is going to show favoritism, and then on top of that, he's a foreigner, right? He does have a work visa, but he's a foreigner, right? So she's going to use the court system to go through the NBA organization to get support from him, when it should be like, hey, look, let me get full custody of my kids. And then, my mother, she's a great person. I have a good family. They're going to be with them, my mom's side of the family, the whole time for the most part. But, get her away from somebody, because my children's lives are in danger being around somebody like her who's talking to me like that. The court system is not going to see it that way, unfortunately. Right? Doesn't matter if you think you have a case or you think you might win. I've seen plenty of people whose their baby moms was, their baby moms was crazy, on drugs, right? Harmed themselves, harmed others, and they still got custody of the kids. All right. So I'm gonna end it right here. Regardless of whether I don't know Dillon Brooks, regardless if I like him or not, I'm still gonna say hold your head up. You know what I'm saying? But I don't want to see men going through this, right? I just don't want to see men having to keep going through this. All right. But anyways, you guys take care. Have a good evening. Peace.